Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, exciting. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Brownstone. I'm Paulette. This is the day shift. So happy that you could join us today. Welcome to everybody that is joining us on Bigo, that's joining us on Instagram, that's joining us on Meta, on all of our platforms, and YouTube with Brownstone Worldwide. I'm Paulette. I am the owner and founder of BrownstoneWorldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and you guessed it, Brownstone Living Magazine. Now, if you want your copy of Brownstone Living Magazine, head over to BrownstoneWorldwide.com. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll be able to see Aisha Taylor Issa on the cover. If you are on TikTok, if you are on Meta, on any one of our platforms, you can head over to the Stan Store, and it is in the Stan Store. It's the very first link. It is absolutely a free digital copy that you can go ahead and check out. And some other things. Oh, there's interviews in there and all kinds of pretty cool things, right? Now, we're going to jump right into the news because yesterday I took a break because my list was long. You all know I'm going to tell you to do a couple of things. You're going to grab your coffee. You're going to grab your water with my magnesium in it, okay? You're going to grab your coffee. You're going to grab your water. You're going to grab your vitamins, honey. You're going to grab whatever medicine that your doctor prescribed for you to make sure that you are getting everything that you need. And, I need to move that straw out the way of that camera. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk news today. We're going to talk information. Some things y'all missed. If you are not behind the scenes on TikTok, baby, you missed some information that we shared, and we're going to keep it amongst us. We're not going to share that, because that might be just a little too much for some people. So let's get into some news and information that we can use. And we're going to talk about some other things too, because we definitely want to pull up Project 2025.observer today. And we want to share with you guys a couple of things that are making themselves known around here. So Morgan Stanley is cutting 2,000 jobs. Did y'all hear about that? I bet you haven't, but let's talk about it, shall we? Morgan Stanley plans to lay off about 2,000 employees this month in a cost-saving initiative that comes amid minimal attrition in its workforce. Now, that's according to Bloomberg reports, citing anonymous sources. The Wall Street Bank, which has about 80,000 workers, made the decision to do this prior to the recent stock downturn. I don't believe it. We the people. That's right. Yes, girl. Morgan Stanley. Come on in here, National Treasure. Welcome. Yes. Good morning, Carolyn Williams. Y'all, I'm trying to keep up. Hey, Sasrin, how are you? All right, I think I'm caught up. All right, so where are we? So the Wall Street Bank, which has about 80,000 workers, made the decision prior to the recent stock market downturn. I still don't believe that. The job cuts are expected to affect various areas of operations, but excludes its 15,000 financial advisors, hopefully, and a small number will be attributed to AI. We were having this conversation, some friends and I, this morning in our morning chat. We were talking about the impact that AI is starting to have on some of your jobs. Pay attention. That's what I'm going to tell you, because I have some friends right now who use AI exclusively in their businesses, and they have some of them this year alone, have officially hit 7 figures using AI only. Okay. All right. Oh, one other thing. Let me share. Good morning, Kathy. Let me also say this. For those of you all who inboxed me about Hotel Planner, my deepest apologies, because I just looked at my inbox on TikTok, and I just realized that some of you guys actually sent a message to me, and I messaged you back last night. Okay. And I said, my apologies. It is never my intent to not respond. It is, can I keep it 100? Nobody ever responds, but y'all responded the other day, and that was on Friday. So if you are still interested in getting a referral for Hotel Planner, and I'm going to talk about it just briefly here, and then we'll get back into things, but I needed to address this because that's not what I do. 2 things. One, I got messages from some of you all who were interested in writing for Brownstone Living Magazine. You were sent an email. Please respond back to the email address I provided. Number 2, if you sent a message for Hotel Planner, please note that I will need your first, your last name, your legitimate mobile phone number, and an email so I can send that information off. I cannot make any guarantees, but I will tell you that your video that you do, I think it has to be like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, something like that. Your video that you do, and also I think like, I don't even think it's like a test or something, but be very, very careful with what you say in your video. Okay. Be very honest, right? And let them know that you have sales experience or customer service experience, because it is a 100% commission-based gig. But I don't know anybody that's not doing it full time. And when I say full time for Hotel Planner can be 4 hours a day. I don't know anybody that's not making $200 to $300 and logging off in a day. Okay. So if you're interested, inbox me that information. Okay. All right. And I will, as soon as I am off live, I will respond to those. So I just wanted to kind of address that right away. All right. So where were we? Let's oh, Jesus. I don't want to do this. Let me go ahead and I'm going to pull it up. Because I know y'all saw it. I know you saw it. I know you did. And Angie T and I were talking about it, but we're going to go ahead and pull it up now because I think it's important. Some of us, there's a tracker, and I need you all to be aware of this. There is a tracker that is out there, y'all, on Project 2025. And let's talk about the progress in the agency. How many of y'all have pulled it up? You need to go ahead and pull it up, and then we're going to get back into the news, okay? Progress by agency. So what we're looking at is USAID. Prioritize funding for faith-based organizations, completed by 2/5/2025. Cut the budget of USAID. Thank you, Angie T. Rescind USAID policies that address climate change and help countries transition away from fossil fuels. What else have they done? Completed. These are all of the things that they have completed under USAID, right? Cut international disaster assistance funding for programs in Yemen, Syria, and Afghanistan. Prohibit US aid from funding sexual reproductive health and reproductive rights and gender equality programs. Eliminate chief diversity officer at USAID. Remove DEI requirements. Eliminate funding for partners that promote discriminatory DEI. Yeah. Time until the end of the term, and it's at the top, 1,403 days, 3 hours, 39 minutes, and 45 seconds. We got 30 minutes. Listen, woo, because that's a lot. And these are the things that have been completed. This is USAID, okay? Let me go back to where we were. All right, so let's look at CDC. Let's look at the CDC and what they've done. Okay? End data collection on gender identity. Prioritize funding for faith-based organizations. Cut budget of USAID. Where's the CDC? Where's the CDC? Was that it? Yeah, I think so. For CDC, Center for Disease Control. Where'd it go? What did I do? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get this. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Let me take that out. Oh, I had way too many on there. Here we go. Here's what has not started, but is on the way. They got USAID though, okay? Allow states to control Medicaid by transforming the program into a block grant or imposing per capita caps. Reduce federal incentives for states to expand Medicaid coverage. Impose Medicaid work requirements. How many people do you know that's on Medicaid that don't want to work? How many people do you know that's on Medicaid that are children whose families don't make enough? Listen, don't get me started. Please don't. Please don't. CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Let's look that up. Okay. It's not, let's take this one out. So CFPB, they've completed one thing with that one, but it won't pull up. All right. So here's what we're going to do. The income cap is based off of working. You are so right. But Medicaid, if I'm in the hospital and I have no use of my body functions whatsoever, like my limbs or whatever, where am I working? Who going? Okay. All right. All right. And it's literally counting down, you guys, the days. I'm watching the seconds. Okay. So this literally has, it's a little confusing, I think, probably because I'm live and I'm trying to move around a little bit too quickly. But USAID is definitely up here. The progress of that is at 100%. Okay. I definitely see that. We're going to take that one off. And the overall progress, 100 done. 46 are in progress, and it's 300 total that they want to dismantle. Yeah. 41% complete, y'all. If you want to see this in real time, go over to project2025.observer. Yes, 300 total objectives. They've gotten 100 done. Y'all, what is this, day 57? 100 done. And I need you all to hear something that you may not like to hear, but we got to have this conversation. Real talk. See, I fell off the news already, but we got to have this conversation. I need you all to understand that there are a couple of things that Joy-Ann Reid talked about that is so vital for you all to understand. Thank you so much for those of you all who are on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube who are watching in Bigo. Listen. What they are wanting us to do, and I need you all to hear me on this, what they are wanting us to do is to fight amongst ourselves over one thing. All share, occupy. I am totally with you, 100%. But what we do here is we like to share information so we are not in the dark. It is a knowing. We already know. We already know. But let me say this. What they want us to do is to disagree on one thing: race. And while we're focused over here on that, they are focused on taking away those rights that we got in the 20th century. Civil rights, women's rights. Yep. And we're seeing it right in our face. We're watching it. And they want us to do this. Yeah. Oh, Angie's T. Yes. It's chess, baby. We out here playing checkers. We didn't play checkers. We're playing tic-tac-toe. And we're trying to catch up. And you know how I can tell we're trying to catch up? Because how I am watching the Democrats fumble all over themselves. They're fumbling. They don't know where to start. You got a couple that are on TikTok and they dancing and they're doing the Kendrick Lamar move from his Super Bowl dance. And some are getting a lot of airtime right now, you know, talking about what's going on. Some are actually having town halls with their people, and people are visibly shaken and shaking and furious. And not just on the Republican side. I watched a couple of videos this morning where even Democrats who are holding their town halls where these people voted them in are furious. They're furious. They're yelling and they're like, look, y'all got to do something. You laid down. You laid down. Chuck Schumer was on The View. Did y'all see that? Chuck Schumer explained why he did what he did. And I understand, but I don't, because it almost gave the vibe that you all were willing to lay down. And I don't know how I feel about that. So I said, let's go ahead and let's share a little bit of this information with the day shift, because we need to talk about this part here that is so important. And yeah, they need to stand up. I'm over it. It's literally, baby, when I tell you, it is literally, I feel, what's the word? I feel like I'm floating. I feel like this is not a part of the life that I envisioned myself having. I don't know. That's me. I thought, All right. So Chuck Schumer comes on and he talks about, and I got to play this for you guys because I think it's important for you all to hear it. Are you ready? Here we go.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Why?
Great.
What were you thinking and why?
Okay. So look, I knew it was a difficult choice, and I knew that I'd get a lot of criticism for my choice. But I felt as a leader I had to do it. Here's why. The CR bill was bad, no question. And it allowed a slush fund, which allowed money to be pushed around.
Explain it for the people who don't know what
There's
CR
a
means.
CR means
what you did.
continue the government spending.
Right.
A shutdown, the alternative is cut off the government spending. And here's what would happen if we cut off government spending. It would be devastation like we have never seen.
Worse than we're seeing now?
Much. Here's why. That's why I did it. I wasn't going to take this flack just for having a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is a government shutdown works like this. All government spending is stopped. All. And then the executive branch, Trump, Musk, Doge, and this really evil man people don't know about, Vogt, who's head of OMB. His name is Vogt.
What's OMB? What is OMB then?
OMB is the Office of Management Budget, which determines the spending. And they could cut off anything they want simply by saying it's not essential. So, day 2, SNAP, food for poor kids, not essential. Day 4, mass transit, New York City subway and subways all over, not essential. Day 7, Medicaid, not essential. People don't need Medicaid. They should get their own health care. And this would happen over and over and over again. And there's no check. The biggest problem is that it has been determined that the courts have no say. Yeah. And the only say is the executive branch. Now, in the old days, when there was a shutdown, they'd work it out. But this is a different, horrible kettle of fish. They hate the government. They want to shut down everything. You heard what Musk said, $2 trillion. And so this would have been so devastating. And here's the second part that's maybe just as bad. There's no exit strategy. How do you get out of a shutdown? Guess who determines it? Trump, Musk, Doge. They're the only ones. And one of the Republican senators told one of the Democratic senators, you get in this, we're staying in for 6 months, 9 months, a year till we decimate the entire federal
Can I do
government.
a follow-up question?
Yes.
quickly?
So wait, it was so bad that I felt I had to do this. Now, it's not happening immediately, but what does a leader do? When you're a leader, if you see a real crisis a little bit down the road, your job is to stand up and say, we cannot do that. And that's what I did.
I'm just gonna
So I want to know, did he do the right thing? Was he supposed to hold the line? We're not. I 100% agree with you, Angie. Angie T says on TikTok, we are not being properly he stand up and cave in. The Larry the Table Guy. I love that name. Hey, Deals with Nia. Did he do the right thing? That's the question. And I hear what he's saying, and I absolutely get it. And his whole thing was, I need to stand in the gap so that they don't get, and you know, here's what's confusing. He said the executive branch, and he said Elon Musk, Elante Muskrat. How didn't I tell you all the other day that we got bought? Period. It's so many different unauthorized layers to this mess. This is like a walking, living series of scandal, and there's no Olivia Pope or her daddy. Yes. Okay. So back to news and information that we could use. Again, if you are headed over to project2025.observer, I would encourage you. I believe Schumer and others are bought by Putin. You think so, River Lady? He's always stood in the middle. I don't know about this one, y'all. I heard what he said, but I don't know. I heard what he said. Does it make sense? On one hand. But either way, they're still tearing it apart. They're still doing what they want. They're not, this man literally said yesterday, no matter what, we still gonna deport folks. Y'all went over what the judge told you not to do, and you deported those people anyway. And wait, I says, we may have made a mistake and deported some folks that didn't need to be deported, but they had tattoos. What? Oh, and shaved their heads. He has no other choice. He has to do damage control at this point. Honestly, he sure did, Carol Sue. I read that whole thing. I thought, oh, Lord have mercy. I remember that time too. Right. He doesn't want to crash. Baby, they're crashing. And see, because of that, so many people are going to be impacted, and not just him. So what I'm hearing everybody say here on TikTok, and thank you so much for the interaction, is Schumer should have held the line with the Democrats. But not only him, there were 9 others, were there not, that stood with him and was like, oh, we gotta, yeah. There were 9 others that stood with him and said, no, we're gonna vote, and that's all they needed. So here we are. And now they get to continue to do the things that they are doing. Well, they were going to do it anyway, because it has been very clear that they're doing what they want anyway. And there is no regard. So here's somebody needs to be taking notes. So when this is over, I said when this is over, there are new rules and laws put in place. And there were 10 that voted to censor Al Green, which means nothing at the end of the day, but it shows where they pumped out. Just one long day and nothing is going to get done. Exactly. So we're talking about people that have, the judge said that the president is above the law. That man couldn't wait to get back in office so he could stay in that space. Right? But I keep telling y'all that there is a universal law that does not follow the laws of man. And that's not me being deep and biblical and spiritual and all of that. That's just law. It's just what you put out is what you get back. And we're watching some of this in real time when we're seeing what's happening to Tesla stock. And when we're seeing what's happening with people selling off their Tesla stock, right? Because aren't they how many folks are selling their Tesla stock right now? Yeah. Hold on. I had it up. See, that's what happened when you had too many windows up. And it's a ridiculous amount that they're selling off too. Like even his brother is selling off Tesla, like in large amounts. Listen, send them on fire, all the things. Wait a minute, a Molotov cocktail was thrown at one, and put, and then someone said no. And y'all, why are y'all viewing? Huh? I'm confused. Okay, and setting them on fire and so forth. Well, if you are referencing what we are doing in terms of watching people do the things, it's because I don't want to be in the dark. Do you? Do you want to be in the dark? I mean, really, I don't know about anybody else. But this impacts everyday life. And here's the other thing. Even though I'm sitting at this table and I'm sipping coffee and drinking my water, taking my vitamins, talking to you guys, I need you all to understand another thing. It may not be impacting me now, but if I'm not careful and if I'm not paying attention and if I'm not allowing my voice to be heard and communicating with other people in this manner, we miss an opportunity to inform one another and to be empowered. And I get the 319 and the 28 and the age of Aquarius, and I get all of that. I do. And I respect that. But I wish the hell I would keep my head in the sand. Yeah, exactly. We all have to talk. We all have to communicate in the forms that we know how. And I say this often. The way that we resist is with our joy. And I know that everybody is playing a part. There are marches that are going on that regular media is not talking about. Yes, Angie, and build community. You are absolutely incorrect, ma'am. You are absolutely incorrect. And it is not. I'm sorry you feel that way. I believe that every last one of us has a way of, sweetie, I'm about to block you, dear. Because this is a no for me. We didn't come here to argue. We didn't come here to argue. That's not what we do. We respect each other and everybody's views. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's already done. Yeah. It's already done. I'm not here for the shenanigans, y'all. We have to remain informed. It is important. And my homeboy always says, you need to stop letting them get. No, we're not going to do that. That's not what we're here to do. We are to remain informed. We are to remain in the know, because it might hit your house, right? With the mortgage industry, it might hit your house. Did you hear about that? Let's talk about that. Okay. That's important. That's information we need to know. I'm not putting my head in the sand. I'm not putting my mind in a space where I'm reading a bunch of runes and tarot cards and all of that. That's fine if that's what you believe. If that's what you believe. Okay. And I respect that. I respect everybody's choice to do whatever they want. Okay. I know what I choose to do to remain informed, just like this one. While we're arguing amongst ourselves, Dr. T, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I really didn't. So let's listen to this one. This one is really important as well. If you were not aware, this is another one.
So we have to do our best to know everything this corrupt government is doing. The oligarchs, Project 2025, to steal everything, to control everything. And this is news that's under the radar, but it's huge news. We have to do our best to know everything going on and talk about it. Eyes wide open, people. Elon Musk is now going to get huge control of the whole mortgage market, of the whole housing market. Yeah, the tech bros. So you have Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae, we'll just call them, they buy and hold mortgages. And they are the ones responsible for our big market crash, the crisis in 2008, because their principals were basically stealing billions of dollars from Americans everywhere. And Americans lost their houses, their retirements. You guys remember all that? And the punishment was to put them, Fannie Mae, into conservatorship. The conservatorship is run by a department of our government. And so these billionaire tech bros want to make a shit ton of money in the mortgage industry now. So they want to see Fannie Mae come out of conservatorship. This mortgage company, the stocks are at rock bottom. They've been sitting at $4 for years. And being the biggest mortgage company in the country, it should be closer to $80 to $100. But it's in conservatorship. So Donald Trump appoints Bill Pulte to run the whole housing division that oversees the conservatorship. And he builds homes, the Pulte homes. Very expensive homes, okay? So the first thing he does in his new role was he fires the board for Fannie Mae, this conservatorship department. I guess there's a board. He fires them, and he appoints a super high up dude from SpaceX onto this board. And you have a flurry of millionaires and billionaires buying Fannie Mae stocks right now, expecting to make millions and millions of dollars across the board when it skyrockets from, I think it's at $6 right now, when it skyrockets all the way up to $80 to $100. And now you've got Elon Musk being very much involved with holding our mortgages, deciding what happens with our housing. SpaceX on the board of this oversight committee. Now, the one thing that Bill Pulte is doing to get away with this is he's following the script. He's following the script. He's following the script. I found fraud. I found fraud. There's 2,400 employees and only like 200 show up to the office. Therefore, it is fraud. Remember the Project 2025 script that people who work remote are not working? It's just a way to get people back into the office to control them. When you're part of the Project 2025 side, you can't control them. When you're part of the tech bro side, you can't get them to work 60 to 80 hours a week when people are working from home very effectively. So goodbye to the extra 10 hours you get back to spend with your family because you got to be in the car or whatever. Bill Pulte's following the script. Let's make people convinced that this entire government has been one big fraud enterprise, and let's shut it down. Okay, there you go.
All right, that's more news that you need to be aware of, right? Why is that important? You heard what she said. They are starting to buy the Fannie Mae stock because it is so low. Now you have an option. If you have the resources, do the same. If you do not have the resources, pay attention to your mortgage or who owns the house that you live in, right? Thank you so much for that, Kathy. Thank you for that. And I'm sorry to hear that you lost your home. This was, let me tell you guys who that was. That was Real Progressive 111. Real Progressive 111. So a lot of the things that are happening right now are happening, quote unquote, under the radar with all of the sensationalism of the major things that are happening. Like, there's one in particular that I definitely need to talk about before we leave today and before I return. You're most welcome, River Lady, here. So let's talk about the Tesla stock that has fallen. Now it's up today, 6.71. Right? As Tesla stock has fallen in recent weeks, members of the board and an executive at Elon Musk's company have been selling off millions of dollars in stock. Now, that's according to filings with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission. Together, 4 top officers at the company have offloaded over 100 million in shares since February. And it continues to fall. Last week, longtime Musk ally James Murdoch, the estranged son of Fox boss Rupert Murdoch and a board member since 2017, became the latest to do so, exercising a stock option and selling shares worth approximately $13 million. And that's according to his SEC filing. You do know that that's public record, right? The sale took place on March 10th, coinciding with the stock's largest single-day decline in 5 years. Let me sip my coffee on that. Wait, that happened the same day when? Oh, okay. According to one filing, the shares were sold to cover the exercise price related to the exercise of stock options to purchase 531,787 shares, which are scheduled to expire in 2025. Now, his brother, Kimball, who also sits on the board, unloaded 75,000 shares worth approximately $27 million last month, according to a filing. So the chairman of the board, Robin Denholm, has offloaded more than $75 million worth of shares in 2 transactions in the past 5 weeks, according to federal filings. And the sell-offs made by Denholm came as part of a predetermined sales plan. What's going on? A number of board members and executives made similar moves in November and December, but the recent sales come at a tumultuous time for Tesla, with the stock falling nearly 50% from a peak in mid-December. The company's shares have suffered most of those losses since President Donald Trump took office and Musk began his controversial government cost-cutting efforts as the head of the newly created Department of Government Efficiency. Wow. Anybody got any more concerns? Are all hearts and minds clear? I say that they always should be, but remain informed. That's what we live by. Like I said before, if you are new here, my name is Paulette. I am the owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide, which houses brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and Brownstone Living Magazine. If you would like your copy of Brownstone Living Magazine, I would encourage you to head over to the Stand Store. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Bigo, if you are on YouTube, go to my Stand Store above my head, and guess what? You can get a free digital copy. That's what you can do. A free digital copy doesn't cost you a thing except your email address. And no, I do not spam. I handle the emails personally because I don't like a bunch of email in my email account either. Okay. So a couple of other things that we definitely wanted to cover. Don't forget, Aisha Issa Taylor is on the cover. Really sweet sister. And you're going to learn how she is taking the sister shop and going completely virtual and completing e-commerce online for her folks. Insurrection Act of 1807. Y'all, Angie be taking me down through there. Girl, I said I wasn't going to talk about it until 12. We're going to talk about that at noon. We are going to talk about that. See, I'm trying to learn how not to take all of my energy. You notice I'm a lot more calm today. Because it's so, I'm inundated with so much information all day long. So I can share with you guys so it can be a part of Brownstone Worldwide. Then on top of that, I'm the editor of the magazine. And then on top of that, I got to make sure that the podcasters are in position. So the podcasters are on their season break. So I'm taking a break. Girl, I be tired. My brain just, whoo, you are taking me down through there. And I know, I know we mean well, but it's so much information. So let's give you some entertainment news really quick. Jonathan Majors and Megan Good got married. So she's now Megan Majors. She's an Eminem. Okay. They got married yesterday. Now that's according to a report. Now we don't know if it's true or not, but the couple got hitched Tuesday at a small private wedding at their Los Angeles home. Now that's according to Entertainment Tonight. It just comes days before he's set to return to the big screen with his new movie out Friday, Magazine Dreams. Now, TMZ actually broke that story. Megan told us in December that Jonathan proposed while they were in Paris and popped the question after getting her parents' blessing. Now, as you know, Jonathan and Megan first hooked up in May 2023 around the time of Jonathan's domestic violence arrest involving his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. A trial jury later in New York ultimately found Jonathan guilty of misdemeanor assault and harassment, and he was sentenced to a 52-week counseling program that impacted his entire career. Now, according to the videos, she's running after him, beating on him, and he turns around and is protecting himself. When is too much too much? Okay, now they're married, and I hope they're happy. I hope they're happy because I do know that her previous husband has already gotten engaged to a young lady that looks very much like Megan Good. Just thought I would throw that out there for a little lightheartedness because I don't want us to be too heavy on some stuff. But then, of course, y'all know I got to talk about this one. The Trump administration, or some people call him WIG, removes federal ban on segregated facilities in government contracts. A recent policy change by the Trump administration has removed a federal prohibition on segregated facilities, including restaurants, waiting rooms, and drinking fountains for government contractors. Did you hear that? Okay. All right. This change, which is a part of a broader rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yes, girl, I know. Was outlined in a memo issued by the General Services Administration last month and affects all civil federal agencies. The policy shift stems from President Trump's executive order on DEI, which revokes a 1965 executive order signed by Lyndon B. Johnson that required federal contractors to maintain integrated workplaces and comply with civil rights laws. Now they ain't got to do it. Oh, okay. So the affected clause, FAR 52.222.-21, prohibition of segregated facilities, was part of the Federal Acquisition Regulation, the government's rule book for federal contracts. Previously, listen closely, y'all, this clause explicitly banned contractors from maintaining or providing segregated workspaces, dining areas, transportation, housing, and other facilities based on race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or national origin. Now, agencies, including the Departments of Defense, Commerce, and Homeland Security, have begun enforcing the updated regulation, removing the anti-segregation laws or clause from federal contract requirements. Now, notice from the National Institutes of Health confirmed that these changes are already being implemented, stating that FAR 52.222, yes, correct. You read that, you heard it right. Yes, that's why I'm reading this verbatim. Yeah, no, not. So while state and federal civil rights laws still prohibit racial segregation, legal experts warn that removing the clause from government contracts actually send a dangerous message. These provisions were part of the federal government's broader efforts to integrate workplace in the 50s and the 60s. Excluding them from federal contracts today speaks volumes. So, yeah. Me either, Gen X women. DGAF. I love that name. Yeah. This is why we come here, because we need to remain informed. Because sometimes we might miss things as we're living life. So I try to, pull as much information as I can. The process, and it says here, by which the administration enacted the changes has also raised transparency concerns. Normally, modifications to federal contract rules include a public notice and a comment period of 45 to 90 days. However, federal contract workers say they were blindsided. I agree, Sonny, it should not be happening. But we're here now. We're here. And what this does not do is it does not impact the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That is a law. Okay? But this sets a scary precedent because now, and what I want you all to understand is, for those of us who are, and I'm going to put this in perspective, a lot of the people who watch this programming, and that's what this is, are female and we're women of color. A lot of this is going to impact us. So what does that look like? And how do you prepare yourself? And remember that I always go back to that story about me asking my foster mother, what was it like during the Depression? They had built their own community. And that's what's going to end up happening is we're going to regress and we're going to go back to the way things were back in the day. And I'm going to explain something to you all. This has more to do with power and control and people being, yes, that right, Sasran, yes, that. And it impacts so many of us in so many different ways. It does. So please understand. Yep, I agree with you, Rick. I agree with you. We've already been in one. So here's a question. Despite the federal changes, I just said this, segregation remains illegal under the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and companies with government contracts must comply with existing civil rights laws. However, the removal of explicit contract language banning segregation raises concerns about accountability and enforcement. There's my issue right there. The accountability and the enforcement. Right. You're most welcome, Sassman. It's the accountability and the enforcement. First of all, we should not be having this conversation. We should not. We should not be having this conversation. We shouldn't even have to have the EI in position, y'all. That, you know what I mean? Like, because folks was doing it anyway. So many of us have been the recipient, and not in a positive way, of just being seen this way, not knowing what your skill set is and what you were capable of doing. And that's just on the job. We ain't talking about it anywhere else. That's exactly what they're doing, Angie T. That's exactly what they're doing. They are chipping away at it like this. Right? When in reality, I want you all to hear me on this. This has nothing to do, but it does. This is a way, several things. One, you want us in the streets. I wish I would. I'm not marching. I already told you what I'm doing. My joy is my resistance. My shopping local and staying out of big box retailers is my resistance. Yeah. They're attacking it now with this. Yep. Because they in my head, I've watched video of white men say that they're going to be the minority soon if they're not already. And I don't keep up with that, right? But at the same token, like, why do you care what someone looks like or who they love? Why does that bother your soul? That boggles my mind. Why do you care if I don't look like you? Why does that bother so many people? Right. It's not even so much because, baby, listen, I'm bothered by a lot of stuff. I've seen so much in there, and I know a lot of us have, but it's confusing for me. Like, I want to wrap my head around it, and it's so hard to do because I do not understand why that bothers people so much. Just like with the young lady that I had to remove from the live. Believe what you want to believe. I'm going to respect that as long as you respect me. And long as you respect this space, or go live on your own platform and say what you would like to say. I guess, Carol Sue. But you know what? I'm going to put this in perspective. When I was a young girl, I used to bleach my skin. To each his own. It's being taught. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And it's, I'm confused by it and how it is perpetuating everything that we're doing. Because, I've heard stories. I've lived on the edge of it. A lot of people, I was born in 1970. And a lot of people think that the desegregation of schools happened in the 60s and then it was boom, it was done, it was instant. It was not. It didn't happen in the city where I grew up in until I was in the first grade. That was 1975. I'll never forget it. It might have been 1976 because it was spring. And I'll never forget it. I actually did a story on this once, where the schools were being desegregated. And we lived in the black neighborhood. Carol Sue, I know. And I'm unbothered. I know you are. Yeah. Right. Kathy, that should be the biggest thing. So I can remember the white parents coming over to the black community. We would have ever done that. Milwaukee is still one of the most segregated cities in the USA, by the way. And they were throwing bottles and they had signs and they were calling us out of our names. I'm not going to repeat that here. If you want to see the video, it's on my timeline. And I remember my foster mother coming through, and those white folks parted like the Red Sea. I'll never forget. She said, "Hold your head up." But it was the way she said it. And she had on a trench coat. That's how I know. I think it was like spring or whatever. But I'm saying all of that to say that I've witnessed it. I've lived it. I have been refused opportunities because I'm a Black woman. And I have a very American, just standard. And yes, you know how to turn it on when you're on the phone. A lot of us know how to do that. So we can get the job. And then when we show up, this has actually happened. And I know I'm not the only one. You're told, "I'm sorry, the job is filled." So you do what you got to do. You learn how to fry chicken in your living room. Not in your living room, in your kitchen. You do what you got to do because you were blocked from opportunities because of how you looked. That's it. We knew that even when I was coming up. We knew that. And it's unfortunate that, we read stuff like this and we're not fear-mongering. It is a fact of who we are as people in this country. We know that there really is no race, or even, y'all, I don't even talk about RFK and that awful response he made to there's facts that Black folks don't hurt as much as white people do in terms of pain. Bruh, what? Are you Black? How do you know? That, I just thought, but this is what we voted for. And you know what they ran on? They ran on hate. They ran on race. They ran on it and they won based on that, not on the facts. And now everybody is FAOing together. They ran on it. They ran on it and they knew because they were hitting that pain point that has never been addressed in this country. Never. And so here we are. They just didn't do it. And I will say this, the Democrats, baby, they laying down so tough, honey. They dancing and tap dancing all over. They on book tours and everything else. And you got 1, maybe 3, maybe 4 people that's really out there fighting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh gosh. Anyway, enough of that, because I could go on and on about this. But listen, here's what we're gonna do. When we come back for tips, topics, and talk this afternoon, I'm gonna show y'all what my lettuce is doing. My lettuce is growing. See how we do? We do joy, because our resistance is our joy. That's what we do here. We get happy. We talk about the things that matter, because in the middle of the knowing, you got to keep living your life. Thank you, Harry, for that. Man, Angie, girl, I didn't know. I've grown lettuce before, so I haven't really paying attention to it, right? And I'm looking, I put it in these glass bowls so I can kind of watch it and see where the water level is. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. I don't know what to do with myself. Lettuce. I did the same thing with my onions. Some people call them scallions. I have them sitting in a vase. Yes, I said vase. Okay. Sitting in the kitchen. And then I planted the other day. What did we do? On Monday, we took an old egg carton after I took the eggs out, and we planted pinto beans. I took my little water sprayer and sprayed it down. I prepared my peppers, and I took the seeds out, and they're germinating now in their paper towel. And I did the same with garlic, and I have my potatoes and my sweet potatoes ready. Yes, sending. Carol Sue said she's sending posts. If that is your resistance and that is your joy, by all means, enjoy that. I love that. I love it. That is hilarious. My other resistance is shopping local. Shop local as much as I possibly can, and I've been doing really, really well. My daughter went to Walmart yesterday. They had a sale. She used to work at Walmart for like 6-7 years. She was like, Mama, they having a sale. I can't help it. And I just shook my head. I thought, okay. So she comes in and she's got like these cups. These cups were like 10 cents, and they're glasses. They're like cocktail glasses. And she bought some margarita glasses. And I just looked at her and shook my head. I thought, you meant, where did I go wrong? What are you doing? She's like, well, I never said I said, do you not understand what is happening right now? Then my oldest took my grandson to go shopping. Guess where she went shopping for all of his Bluey outfits? If I could have climbed through the phone. She went to Target. And I keep asking myself, where did I go wrong? Well, Mama, I'm trying my best to stay out the stores. It's just hard. What do you mean? Like, why, right? What you doing in the stores? Making whole memes about it and stuff. And I got Mason what he wanted. If you don't stay out the stores, that baby got so much stuff, it don't make no sense. It just. Well, Mama, it remind me when I love Barney, and you would buy me all the Barney things. And okay, I get it. Right. And I did. But see, that's my fault, right? I own it. Even though, let's keep it real, they grew up in it. But they also grew up on the side where they weren't exposed to it like I was, or like their grandparents were, right? So it's a little bit different. So they don't understand. Even like my sons, KJ's what? KJ will be 18 next week, y'all. Oh my God. My baby is going to be 18. He doesn't get it. Like he gets it, like he sees it, you know what I mean? And then I have conversations. So he walked to school today, y'all, and I about had a fit. And I said, please message me when you get home, when you get to class, when you get to school, text me. Has he texted me? Has he texted me? Nope. He hasn't texted me. Not at all. So I will be sending him a message and letting him know that he needs to get in touch with me and let me know that he has made it to school. I'm good. It's already charged. Yeah. Stay right. So we will be having a whole conversation. What are you doing? What's happening? Why were you in Target? Why did you go to Walmart and bring those Walmart bags in this house? What are you doing? Just excited. Oh, mama, look, they was tested. They was tested. Stay out the stores. Stay out. Well, mama, I just was going to get just this one thing. And yes, my son is very dark. I'm just being honest. And no, he does not look his age. He has a beard and a mustache. Somebody was like, how old is he? What is he, 20? No. This is when he was 14. Yeah. So we're not doing that. Let's just protect and educate. And we're still going to have, matter of fact, I'm having a family meeting. Yet again. We did have a family meeting when this first started happening and we learned about, this impending recession well before it made the press or whatever. I sat down with the family that stays here and I said, what are we doing? How are we doing? What do we need to start getting now? What do we need to do? Shopping local is important. Number one, because I am a small business owner, but shopping local is important because local business owners keep local communities going. Not to say that the Walmarts and the Targets and the others don't, but when they show us who they are in terms of our dollars and how much they really didn't want to do it anyway, which we always knew. Let's be clear. We always knew they didn't want to do it no way. So then why commit to it? You committed. We're just asking you to keep your word. And if you can't keep your word, then I get to keep my money. And I'm gonna go shop over here. And I am a huge proponent of shopping locally because I want people to patronize my business as well. And let me just keep it real. They got to pay their bills just like I do. Kohl's too. I just found out about Kohl's. I was so disappointed too, y'all. Because growing up in Wisconsin, that's where Kohl's, like we had Kohl's, the department store, and then we had Kohl's, the grocery store. Like there was a huge chain of that. And that's what we did. We did those things. We shopped there. And shopping local, like I shopped at, there's a local grocery store here called Wilson's. I shopped there. And then I shopped at a place called Act Now. I've shopped at local restaurants and so forth here, where local business owners who live, work, worship, play, hang out where I hang out, connect where I do with our local chamber and so forth. I want to make sure that I am providing my monetary resources to those businesses so they can stay open. Why is that important? Because of the economic development in the area that I live in. That's important. It's important. When you really look at it, when you go granular, it's not just about the big box retailers and boycotting, right? Or being a part of this 40-day fast, which I'm not. I haven't been in Target. I know it's going on 15 months. That was a choice I made when I noticed they started moving the LGBTQIA stuff to the back of the store. I was like, oh no, I'm out. That's it for me. That was a decision I made. Had nothing to do with me going live or going public or talking about it. That was a choice I made. I don't shop at Walmart because I don't like Walmart. There you go. You've got to boost the community that you live in. Thank you, Angie. It's about, yeah. They've been counting their days anyway. Yes. Kohl's on many different levels. They've been counting their days. And yes, we know that they have employees that look like all of us from all walks of life. That's not the point for me. For me, it is important for me to support local businesses first. Mom and pop stores were destroyed and devoured and boarded up when big box retailers showed up in these small towns. And now they're the only thing that people got access to do what they need to do. Right. And now there's this resurgence and this revitalization that we're starting to see. And that doesn't happen if we don't support them. Little boutiques and stuff like that are selling the same thing. And you say, well, they so high. They got to be. It might be $2 or $3 more than what you would pay at like a Walmart. Those people got to eat too. And they have a dream in their heart that they want to see happen. And it's, and that doesn't happen when we're not supporting. Better quality. Amen. Come on with it. Sometimes you can go to some of these big box retailers and a dress doesn't have a lining in it anymore. What? So I can just see all your everything just flapping in the wind. I'm just being real. Shoes. How many people? There's a cobbler in my time. They don't even make those. Oh, if you mess up a pair of shoes, guess what? Throw them away. How about getting repaired? Better quality. They have the most amazing local brewery here. It's called Piedmont Brewery. I hope I'm saying that right. There's another one being built not far from my house because I literally live walking distance from downtown. And it is so much fun to go down there. If you're like me and you like a small, quaint town that looks like it came off of a Lifetime movie network, where I live is perfect. And then there's a city over called McDonough, Georgia. Try to find a slip. Ma'am, a slip. Yes. So we have so many opportunities to start shopping in our local communities and helping to build this. I don't want to hear, ain't nothing going on in our city. Small town USA, it's up to y'all. It's up to us. It really is. It is up to us for the see-through dresses. My mother would wear me out, see me come outside without a girdle on. What you mean you don't have a girdle on? I wished I'd have listened. That's, hey, Bibbidi Bob, come on in here. Welcome, welcome. So good to see you today. But yeah, so shopping local or big box retailers, it is ultimately your choice. You know what I mean? Get your essentials and get out. What's something else that you can do as well? Another thing that you can do is find out who works for you and you stick with that. I'm gonna shop local because it saves me money. If it's something that I need, I will be honest with y'all. So I ordered my stuff off of eBay and it took, one of my items still hasn't gotten here. It's gonna take another week. I don't already pay for it. Why I haven't gotten it? And I understand. Now, here's something else, y'all. Listen closely to this. If you are one of those that you want to, and we talked about this before, but for those of you all who are new here, we do talk about how do we do this. There's some things that I like getting from Amazon. Well, Amazon is a platform that allows smaller businesses to utilize the traffic that it comes to. So it's easier for those smaller businesses to garner the eyeballs that they need. If it is something that you really like that is on Amazon, go directly to that small business's website and order it from there. The reason why they're on Amazon or on a Walmart marketplace is because they need the eyeballs. That's why they do it. Go directly to the source. And I know what you're going to say. Well, in the source, China, so forth. Please, we can go down that rabbit hole if we want to, but we know that these are small business owners that are trying to compete with the big dogs. And that's what they use the platform for. Same thing, like I said, with Walmart. Okay. Wayfair, I think, has something very, very similar. And Target. Order from the actual company. Yep. Order from the actual company. That's what you do. Yeah. So listen, this is what we're going to do. When we come back this afternoon, I said I was going to make biscuits or cookies. I'm not sure, but we're coming back like we do. Yesterday I didn't come on because I had planning to do, but we're coming back and I said I might. and we'll chop it up a little bit more and go over it. I want y'all to see this lettuce. I'm tripping out because the last time I did it got slimy and I ended up throwing it away, right? So I'm just letting it sit in water for now, and we'll take it from there and see what happens. But cabbage, oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. But listen, y'all, I got to get out of here. I've been on here for 90 minutes, maybe an hour on the other platforms, because y'all know I come on here. We share the tea first over here. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the rest of my day. Don't forget, if you have your 6 list, like we always do here, write down the 6 most important things that you have to do for the day and start crossing them off as you finish them. If you do not finish them, like I didn't finish some things here, put them on the new list at the top and you work your way down. Start with the hardest things first so you can get them done, okay? And you'll continue to see results. If you haven't gotten your coffee, or your water in, start getting yourself hydrated. Y'all, I wasn't hydrated enough yesterday either. I was so tired. And then lastly, 3 things that I always like to tell every single person that is listening in earshot. Are we ready? 1, love your life. It is the only one that you have. 2, live your life to the fullest and embrace everything that is your life, because you only get one you might as well enjoy it. And lastly, 3, breathe through every single moment. For those of you all who are on all of the other platforms except for TikTok, we'll see you around.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
A is for apple, red and round. A is for acorn on the ground. Wave your arms big like an alligator. Jump up high and clap together. Clap, clap, clap for a hooray. Sing it loud, let's shout and play. A is awesome, and that's okay. Clap, clap, clap for A today. A is for ant, so teeny and small. A is for airplane flying tall. Wiggle your fingers, make 'em soar. Spin around now, once or more. Clap, clap, clap today. Touch your toes, then touch the sky. Act like an astronaut floating by. Say A, nice and clear. A for adventure, let's all cheer.